Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and we're gonna have a motion to go into non-public.
Make a motion then to non-public under RSA 91-A3 I at 4:31 p.m.
Patrick, what letters?
2 A, B, C, I, and A.
4:30.
We have a second,
That's a roll call.
and then a roll call.
Patrick, who's second?
Kelly.
Kelly? Alright, Kelly?
Yes.
Lacey?
Yes.
Maria?
Yes.
And Patrick.
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, I make a motion to accept 2 students to continue their education at Seabrook schools as non-residents through the remainder of the 23-24 school year and waive the tuition privilege policy JFAB.
I second.
Aye. Aye, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Make a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation of renomination for Seabrook School District of the 24-25 school year.
We have a second,
I second.
all in favor?
Aye. Which nomination is this, Meredith?
The first one?
You could do either one first, social studies.
Okay.
Can we clarify what the last nomination was?
It was renominations, an addendum from the superintendent from before. That is the special
Education teacher.
special education teacher for the
Middle school.
Yeah.
All right.
We need a second on
I did.
Lacey again.
I'll say Lucy next time.
I make a motion to accept superintendent's nomination of Mike Bombardier as the social studies teacher for the 24-25 school year.
We have a second,
Lacey seconds.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I make a motion to accept the superintendent's nomination of Savannah Sigmund as the health teacher for the 24-25 school year.
Do we have a second?
Lacey seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to accept the resignation of Kelly Garcia effective the end 23-24 school year.
Do we have a second?
Lacey seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to authorize the Seabrook School Chair to sign the memorandum of agreement with the Seacoast Educational Personnel Associate CESPA in reference to the registered behavioral technician RBT positions at the Seabrook schools.
Do we have a second?
Lacey seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the contract addendum as presented for Tim Dow as acting principal for SES for the remainder 23-24 school year.
Do we have a second?
Lacey seconds.
All in favor?
Aye. Student representative report?
They rescheduled
That's
because of the late
rescheduled.
night.
Yeah.
8th grade field trip,
Also rescheduled.
also rescheduled. We're now gonna open for public comment. I will go over, public comment rules here. Public comment is open. Individuals will have 5 minutes to speak. After your 5 minutes is up, we'll remind you. If someone in the crowd wishes to donate their time to another person, they can continue on speaking. I appreciate everyone's patience as we had to go through several things here in non-public prior to make sure things are done. And again, I really appreciate everybody coming out to voice their opinions. So at this time, public comment is open.
Rebecca Sherman, 8th grade language arts teacher, drama club coach. Dear members of the school board, Meredith, Dave, Mary, others, everyone who's here, I'll be brief. First and foremost, please accept the 8th grade drama club's invitation to be our guest at our upcoming play on the evening of June 6th. We would love to have you. June 6th. Over the past 2 months at school board meetings, there have been so many agenda items that have been wiped off of the agenda due to time or at the discretion of the board chair and the board. This is so disheartening because in truth, although you are attempting to get to the business portions of the agenda, which are very important, you are in fact missing out on all of the happenings that make our school so wonderful. You're missing out on student reports and stories of successes in our classrooms. You're missing out on extended learning opportunities and triumphs in testing. You're missing out on the amazing donations and monumental efforts made by members of the very community who elected you to sit in those seats, especially in regards to the 8th grade fundraising. You are missing out tremendously. You are missing out on teachers who are looking to share with you about the conferences that they've attended and presentations that they're giving at national conferences. You're missing out on all of the amazing and wonderful things that you so desperately need to, and I do believe want to hear. My ask is that you no longer swipe away the agenda items that are so vital in helping you all see the incredible events and efforts that we are making in our schools. I would love to see student, teacher, and principal reports have a sacred place on your agenda, an untouchable agenda item, if you will. This way, there will never again be a chance for you to miss out on the amazing things that our schools are doing. Please consider making these items a protected agenda item, if not this year, then next. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Kelly McGinnis, I'm a teacher at the elementary school. Just wanted to share some of the feelings that I currently have. I've never spoken at a school board meeting before, but just feeling you can speak today. I feel very frustrated, angry, defeated, disappointed, and most of all sad. I'm sad because our principal, Brian Belanger, who loves this school, the students, and the staff, has resigned, and in my opinion, because he had no other choice. I'm sad because over the last 2 days, I have seen and heard students who don't understand why their principal, their buddy, is leaving. I am sad because the morale in the elementary school is the lowest I have seen it in the 20-plus years I've worked here. I'm sad because when I walk in the building every morning, I see the look of defeat on my colleagues' faces. I am sad because grants, which would positively affect our students, are no longer being approved. I am sad because we are losing a much-needed and very valuable social worker in our school. I have never seen any of the board members in our school to see all of the great things going on for themselves. I have heard at least one board member mention they would never come in the school for an announced visit. To that, I would like to say that we are teachers, not actors. No matter who comes in our school, announced or unannounced, they would see the same thing. Professionals doing their jobs, no matter who's watching. I have heard the board members say over and over again that they are for the teachers and they support the teachers. It does not feel that way to me. I truly hope someday in the very near future we can get to a point where the school board, teachers, and administrators can all work together in a professional and constructive way. Until then, I will continue to be sad. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, Kelly.
My name is Matt Stevens. I'm a teacher at a nearby district and I have 13 years of experience in education. I also have 3 children that go to Seabrook Elementary School. I cannot attend most meetings, yet I strive to be an informed parent and I watch most board meetings on YouTube. While I have long been disappointed by the conduct of the board, recent decisions have left me deeply concerned for the future education of my children. I have tried to watch the board meetings through the lens of understanding. As much as I have tried to be neutral and understand, my experience in education will not allow me to find logic in any of the board's recent actions. In the world of education, I believe there are 3 essentials that define an outstanding educator. The first is being a champion for students. To be a champion for students, you must establish strong, respectful relationships, be consistently there for them, advocate for them, and most of all, believe in them. A champion for students only makes decisions in the best interest of their students. An outstanding educator must also have a passion for the profession. Being an educator is not easy, often thankless, and it is passion that fuels creating educational experiences that engage every learner and invite every learner to feel valued and successful. The third essential characteristic of an outstanding educator is being knowledgeable and being a lifelong learner, having a strong foundational understanding of content and instruction, and consistently engaging in professional development to refine one's craft and expertise. Brian Belanger is an exemplary leader, and what he will take with him to another school is a loss for Seabrook that will create a difficult belief to fill. It was clear Brian loved the students of our community and his job. He was outside enthusiastically greeting students every morning and again saying goodbye in the afternoon. I always saw him acknowledge every student and engage every student with such positive energy. He brought unique opportunities to students, including visitors to school, tutoring, science camp, and even a whale watch or deep sea fishing excursion. Talking with Brian, it was clear he was passionate and motivated to find innovative ways to increase academic achievement, all while being mindful of the research that social emotional learning improves academic achievement. He is also one of the most motivated students himself, a true lifelong learner. He holds a master's in educational leadership and a CAGS in both inclusion education and diversity K-12. He's also an adjunct instructor for Southern New Hampshire University. With his experience and thirst for further education, it is sad that there was distrust among the board and the desire to micromanage. I want those with the most educational experience making decisions for my children, not a school board that does not take the time to invest in understanding best practice and current research in education. I understand why Brian chose to leave. He wants to make a difference. All educators do. And unfortunately, this board has done nothing but block those efforts. What I cannot understand, and I'm seeking clarity around, is why this board put forth a motion to force Brian out 2 days after the vote. The continuity of leadership is crucial and should not be interrupted unless absolutely necessary. As a fellow educator who cares deeply about my own students and my colleagues, I can only imagine how devastated Brian feels. As a board, you may not have agreed with his vision for the school, but should at least respect the relationships he has built and the professionalism he has shown our community. He wanted to finish out the school year, even continuing to work under a board that does not have his back. That is dedication to the students and staff at Seabrook Elementary, and he deserved to end the year with both. I truly hope that the support for Brian offered here tonight offers an opposing perspective and a chance for the board to reflect and problem solve. The arguing on professionalism and rash decision-making are all barriers to making positive change, and it is and will continue to drive away high-quality educators. It will also make our school less competitive when hiring, discouraging high-quality educators from applying. We need to do better.
Excuse me, Mr. Stevens, can you just state your address?
I don't mean to make you come all the way back up, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, 86 Centennial Street.
Thank you. Next.
I'm gonna be brief.
Your name?
Bruce Corson, 79 Carolina Avenue. I'm wondering why a school 7 miles from here, an elementary school, is #1 in the state, and we're not even in the top 10. I'd like you people to straighten that out. And that's about all I gotta say, because if I go on, you're not gonna really like what I gotta say. And I don't wanna start getting nasty. But something's gotta be done, and it's gotta be done quickly. And I don't mean next year or the year after, I mean this year.
Agree.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you. Next.
My name's Megan Hoyt. I live at 69 Ledge Road here in Seabrook. I don't really have anything prepared to say because I wasn't sure if I was going to speak. It's not something I do often. I'm a pretty anxious person, so I'll start there. But I'm a school counselor. I work in a neighboring district. I worked there for 9 years. Prior to that, I worked for 10 years as a social worker. I'm one of the people you probably would be trying to fire from your building. I can tell you I service on a daily basis anywhere between 45 and 70 students, and I work in the grades 3 through 5. What you have done to this building, to this district, you have shattered its foundation. And I don't even think you realize what you've done. If you are not spending at least a week straight in this building, you have no idea the decisions you're making. And you should feel shame. Because what these teachers and educators are going through each and every day, you probably wouldn't last half of it. My daughter was in an art class this year. Some of you know my daughter. She's in 3rd grade. She's a love. She had another student turn to her and explain what it is that comes out of a man's private part to make a baby. Within 2 hours of me sending an email, I had a response from Brian Belanger. I had follow-up with Mr. Hahn, Mr. Dow. The teachers all knew about it. I wouldn't get that in the school that I work in. You have no idea the gem that you have just lost for our district. And to then not give our children proper time to grieve this loss and understand that he's not abandoning them, that you all have done this, is disgusting. You should leave here feeling shameful. Because now I have to be the one on the softball field for some of these kids, helping coach them and explain to them that their principal didn't leave them because of this. Your small action leaves big ripples. And that is something you need to remember. I am disgusted that now I have to send my kid into school every day feeling like she doesn't have anyone who has her back. So I expect that you will respond to my email when I email you the next time someone says something like that to my child, because I will be reporting to you.
Good. Next.
My name is Andrea McCusker. I am a teacher here at the middle school, and I am also a community member. I live at 66 Marshview Circle. It is my understanding that you have and will be interviewing the rest of the participants that our interview committee has interviewed for the various positions at Seabrook Middle School. The purpose of me addressing you this evening is to support the hiring of Christian Allison for the position of Director of Special Services. I myself was not on the committee that chose Ms. Allison as a finalist, but I was lucky enough to work under her when I began my teaching career years ago at Rochester Middle School. During my time in Rochester, Ms. Allison was extremely patient, caring, and very knowledgeable, allowing her to be an excellent role model as I began my journey as a special educator. There was a lot of turnover in admin positions in Seabrook, including the position of Director of Special Services. In my opinion, this turnover in this specific position is due to the workload. Being the Director of Special Services for 2 schools, both with a high number of special education students, is an extremely difficult undertaking. Not everyone is capable of doing well. Currently, there are 147 students at the elementary and middle schools receiving special education services. This number includes the outplacement students. This is the largest number in our SAU, not counting Winnicott. No other candidate besides Miss Allison has had any experience overseeing a department this large. Miss Allison has made it clear that it is her intention to make Seabrook her place to stay until she retires. She explained that she has not applied anywhere else and her interest is only Seabrook. Not only is she highly qualified, she wants to be here for the long haul. Please consider Christian Allison for the position of Director of Special Services. She's qualified, has extensive experience, and will be a committed leader for our school community. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
Next.
Laura Likovsky, I'm kindergarten teacher here at the school. I'm so appreciative to all of the people who spoke in behalf of Brian. That just so many words that need to be said. But I'm gonna switch the focus a little bit on something else that was kind of thrown at us this morning that I feel like people probably are not aware of. And a person who is affected that most people probably don't even know, but I feel that it's important, again, for decisions, to be transparent about decisions that are being made. So I'm going to speak about the fact that our early childhood outreach coordinator, Patrice Baker, has been told that she is no longer allowed to run our early childhood playgroup, and the absolute absurd fact that she is no longer allowed in our building. I hope there are some parents here who are going to speak about the loss of the playgroup that's been so beneficial to so many parents by connecting families to resources and to each other. But my focus now is regarding the impact this decision has on the kindergarten team in particular. Patrice has worked with us for about a year now and has always been an incredible support to our program. She's attended our kindergarten information sessions, provided resources for us, and most recently helped us with our kindergarten screening process. She was scheduled to help again when we screen incoming students next week. Patrice was the warm and welcoming face that met the new families as they came in. While the teachers screen the children, she meets with small groups of parents. During this time, she answers questions, provides information about our program, and shares resources with parents that they may need, and especially gathered important, useful information that would help us to meet students' needs. She's been an invaluable part of our incoming kindergarten process, and we're now left without her and no one else to fill this important role. This decision affects our team, the students, and the new kindergarten families. I'm confused and disappointed in this decision by the board.
Alana.
Good evening, my name is Jessica Karen. I am a parent of a fourth grader in town and I reside at 12 Lighthouse Way. I am a perfect example of a preschool intervention gone extremely wrong. But first and foremost, I'm going to say thank you for your time and your consideration of my comments. Based on previous comments from board members relating to me and social workers in general, I am fearful that my voice just does not matter to this board, and as a taxpayer, that is deeply concerning to me. Today, I sat in a metal chair for almost 3 hours to wait for this meeting. I sacrificed dinner with my daughter. She had SpaghettiOs instead. I understand the board had business to conduct before this meeting, but I'm baffled about why the public was not notified of the start time of the actual public start of the meeting. There was over 40 people waiting in metal chairs in this hallway, and we didn't have air conditioning to do that. Our fear was that the board might change the agenda so that we weren't able to be part of this conversation because of the way that changes to agendas have been made so far. I don't understand a lot of the decisions and the behavior of the board. I've tried hard, I've been to lots of meetings, and I've watched all of the meetings. I am trying really, really hard to understand your perspective because I understand that we all have to work together to fix the problems that are in our community. Tonight, most unsettling for me is the comments the board has made regarding students they believe don't exist in our school. That our rates of free and reduced lunch and homelessness aren't true, that somehow we're busing students in for some sort of other reason. And I happen to know in my own experience in public education that administrators don't want children with behaviors in their buildings. They really just want to educate. They want to teach reading, writing, and arithmetic. That is their main goal. But when they see barriers, educators are persistent and they're diligent, and they find ways to overcome those barriers. And that is what I've seen within this building and other buildings across our state. But to say that those rates aren't true, and to say that those students are invisible, is just not fair to those families who experience those things. Those families are not going to feel safe to come up here and speak to you about their experiences or their concerns about the changes that are being made in this building. Frankly, it might be very difficult for them to get here with transportation and or childcare needs. I was lucky to find someone to watch my daughter tonight. Excuse me, I'm sorry. As a child who grew up in a family that struggled financially, I'm appalled to hear a board member say that it's easy for families to get to Hampton for preschool. I was a child who could not get to preschool, and I was very, very grateful that my school understood my needs and my family's needs and found another parent to drive me 2 half days a week. Had that not happened, I would have gone into first grade with no experience of a classroom or sitting in a seat or doing any of those things. Again, my school was really aware of my family's needs and the chaos that I went home to every night. They looked after me, they took care of me, and they understood that. And when things went wrong in the classroom, they did give me a little bit of grace. I have 3 older siblings that didn't get to go to a school like that, and they had very, very different outcomes for me. I started working when I was 16 years old full-time, and I put myself through 2 college degrees while working full-time. And I will forever be grateful to my elementary school who set that foundation for me, believed in me, and saw me as a student and didn't think I was invisible. I'm very, very sad for my 3 older siblings who struggle with housing. They struggle with maintaining jobs. They struggle with substance use. These are things that play out in our community every single day. This is why I became a social worker, and this is why I fight for the students in this building that don't have a voice, because my daughter doesn't need those things, because I was able to break a generational cycle because the school saw me and supported me. So I really beg the school board to spend time in this building and walk with administrators, because in my experience working in public education, administrators were not able to hide the problems within their building. Principals don't have time to prepare teachers to hide anything that's happening. You will very quickly see it. They spend their day putting out fires. I was someone who got to walk into every school in a building unannounced, and I saw the same things as when they knew I was coming. So I beg the board to fully understand our community and think through the decisions they're making, because I'm deeply, deeply concerned for my daughter's friends that will go without support next year. Thank you.
Thank you,
Harold Eden, 157 Farm Lane. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit too. I've heard one person here tonight speak the absolute truth. And it's about the education that these students in this school are receiving. That should be the main priority. Teachers, that should be your main priority. School board, that should be your main priority. These students in Seabrook deserve the same education that the same schools in SAU 21 are receiving. I know that's not the truth, because I asked the question at a school board meeting and asked if the curriculum was the same. The answer I got was no. The reason why was demographics. I don't know about you, but I don't buy that, because I didn't grow up rich. I didn't come from a rich family. But that didn't determine the education that I should have received. I shouldn't be faulted because I didn't come from a wealthy family from a different community. Nor should these students in Seabrook. We should get together. We should have the curriculum be taught across the board in all the SAU 21 schools. Because the reality is, everybody ends up in Winnicott. All the students from Hampton Falls, Seabrook, Northampton, and Southampton, and Hampton, but they're not in the SAU 21, all end up in Winnicott. That's an injustice for those students in Seabrook to sit in the same class and not be given the same opportunity for the education. Think about how that student feels. Sitting in the class and not having any idea what that teacher is teaching because they didn't get the same education. They didn't get the same opportunity because somebody determined what they could learn based on if they came from a wealthy family or not. That's the main concern, guys. It's not about what principal's leaving or vice principal's leaving or what teacher's leaving. It's about everybody getting together to give these children the same opportunities as what they receive in the surrounding communities. And I know it's a little bit different, but I feel like this board now, this current board, is trying to make education a priority. This is a school. Education should be the #1 priority, nothing else. Yes, mental health is important, but that should not be the priority in a school. We're here to educate students. And I hope that this board stays true to putting education first. Give the teachers the resources they need. If we have to, get administration and that will handle the discipline side of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.
Next. All set. Anyone else for public comment? Okay.
I just have one letter that was submitted to me earlier today and asked to be read in.
Is that the one that you?
It's a different one,
Okay.
so I'm happy to read
What
that.
is it? It's a letter she was asked to read.
I can send it down to you, but I was asked to read it into public comment. It was sent to me for public comment.
I've never had anybody do that. I'll
Yeah.
listen.
Thank you. Dear members of the school board, I'm writing to express my concerns regarding the recent decisions made by the school board and the level of support provided to our staff and students. As a veteran staff member with a vested interest in the well-being and success of our educational system, I feel compelled to address these issues that are affecting our schools. It has come to my attention that some of the recent decisions made by the school board may not be in the best interest of our students and staff. There seems to be a disconnect between the priorities of the board and the needs of those directly involved in the day-to-day operations of our schools. As a result, concerns have been raised about the potential negative impacts on the quality of education and overall well-being of our school community. Furthermore, it is essential that our staff feel supported and valued in their roles as educators and caretakers of our students. Without adequate support, it is challenging for us to provide the high level of education and care that our students deserve. Ensuring that our staff receive the necessary resources, professional development, and recognition is paramount to maintaining a positive and thriving educational environment. We do not feel seen or heard, or that we are supported by you in the decision-making process. I have had the absolute pleasure of working with our kids for the last 13 years, and I have never felt more deflated than I do today. We are fully aware that there are decisions that we are not privy to, but even after watching and attending the meetings, we feel that transparency is severely lacking. It is my belief that the work we do as educators is fundamentally one of the most important jobs in the world. We show up, we teach, we love, we give every part of ourselves to our children. And when we do not feel supported by you, we wonder if you even see us. Come to our classrooms, volunteer, and see how we magically turn state standards into an aha moment and dance with our kids while they succeed and hug them when they struggle. See how we empower them in their learning and help cultivate good human beings, which this world needs more now than ever. I respectfully urge the school board to reconsider its decision-making process and prioritize the well-being and success of our students and staff. It is crucial that all stakeholders work together collaboratively to address issues, make informed decisions, and provide the necessary support to ensure the best possible outcomes for our schools. I respectfully request the school board to consider the following actions. 1. Engage in open dialogue with staff, students, parents, and community members to gain a better understanding of their concerns and perspectives. 2. Prioritize the needs of our students in all decision-making processes and policies. 3. Provide adequate support and resources to our staff to enable them to excel in their roles and positively impact student learning. 4. Foster a culture of transparency, accountability, and collaboration within the school board and with the wider community. 5. Take proactive steps to address any areas of concern and work towards continuous improvement in our educational system. I believe that by working together and actively addressing these issues, we can create a stronger and more supportive learning environment for our students and staff.
Our students deserve the best possible education, and our staff deserve to feel valued and empowered in their roles as educators. Thank you for taking the time to consider my concerns. I look forward to a positive and constructive dialogue to address these important issues and work towards a brighter future for our schools. Signed, sincerely, to Taylor Labonte, grade 2 teacher.
Thank you, Taylor. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment?
Cassandra Hashem, Austin Joyce. Just in the letter that Meredith wrote, it talked about getting feedback from the community, which reminded me that Lucy had brought up several meetings ago, a survey to staff, and then a follow-up survey to parents about opinions. And although I don't expect you to have the answer today, as it's not on the agenda, but if at some point soon there could be an update on where that's at, I think there's a lot of feedback that needs to be heard from everybody.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Cassandra, what was your last name again?
Hashem, Hashem.
Thank you.
Christina Kaiser, 243 South Main. I would just like to reference a couple of things. When I came to the school today for Girls on the Run, it was approximately 2:15. The sadness that I saw in this building literally made me want to curl up in a ball and cry my eyes out. And that's not just from Ryan, who is notably, obviously sad. That's from staff, who I had to hug in the hallway, because when you see someone crying, I think your first thought would be to console, but I don't have the words to say. But also, I saw kids crying. Why are we allowing kids to be put in a position where they are watching an administrator walk out these doors that clearly loves them, that clearly has respected them, that has been a part of their lives for 2 years now, and we're watching them step into a room that they now have no idea what's gonna go on. They don't know what's gonna happen. They are devastated. I am devastated. I value Brian's leadership. I respect him as an administrator, and if the thought is to remove administrators because you want them to follow the way that you want to do things, I can tell you right now that to have any administrator want to walk in this building right now, when I look at the list to say, okay, there's 2 administrators that have now left that we need to replace. If I'm an administrator, a quality administrator, I'm gonna look at that and I'm gonna say, I don't think this looks like a good culture to work in. Something's going on. And if the staff is leaving when an administrator leaves, there's something going on. Is it what you think? I don't know. But what I'm saying is that when I see kids crying in a hallway, how is that decision the right decision for kids? As a taxpayer, we talk about tax money. We're all for taxpayers. We support people that vote for things, whatever we want to say. But as a taxpayer, I'm horrified. I am horrified. And for us to hear the constant back and forth of, well, you shouldn't have spent that money on furniture, you shouldn't have spent that money on t-shirts, you shouldn't have spent that $300 here, $200, whatever. And then we're willing to let an administrator sit at home for the remainder of this school year while he gets paid, who doesn't want to be home, who wants to be here, or make that make sense. Make that make sense and tell me how that helps kids. And we talk about academics, absolutely, you are correct. We need to boost academics, absolutely. And how do we do that? By pulling resources from the school? By removing social workers? By pulling tutoring? By switching things out of the budget? By doing what we want on a whim? No, that's not how it works. And a lot of it, we talk about the board as a whole. I can't tell you if certain things are everyone, because some of it is sealed. We don't know. We don't know who voted for what, so we can't speak to individuals on how they believe and what they feel. What I can tell you is this environment that has been fostered in the last, let's say, 6 months,
3 years.
No quality administrator. I'm sorry, I'm talking. No quality administrator is going to walk into this building and want to be here. No quality administrator. If we are having people apply for a position that's open and we get 3 applicants, tell me how we're expecting to hire administrators in a school. All they have to do is watch a school board meeting in the last 6 months. I'm telling you, I wouldn't wanna be here. I would not wanna work in a building that seems like I'm not supported, I'm not cared for, and I'm not respected. And that's the environment that we see right now. And I don't even know what to say, honestly, because I'm really appalled. I'm really baffled by some of the decisions that are made. And when people come and they share how sad they are, they're not saying, like, nobody's coming here because they want to speak. I can tell you that right now. Nobody feels comfortable getting out, and maybe some do, but it doesn't really seem like this is a very comfortable environment. I don't even feel comfortable, honestly, standing up here to speak. And I've been on that side, I've listened to people speak, and I've had to take it. I've sat there and listened as we get spoken to about the academics and we get all those things. But I can tell you right now that for this many people to show up, this many people to come here and speak about Brian, about the board and their decisions, and about the things that we're dealing with in the building, that deserves a second look. And if it's important for you to know what's going on in a building, you think the first place you would go is in that building. Yep. And I can tell you that I'm in the building multiple times. And not because I'm a board member, just because I'm a parent that volunteers. And I would encourage you that if you have a question about teachers, if you have a question about administrators, the first place you would go is in the building. And like Megan said, if you're not gonna be in that building for a week, doesn't really seem like a good idea to make decisions that just are like a sweeping decision and we expect everything to change just like that. You beg and plead for change and then you refuse change when administrators offer it. And that is an impossible task for anyone. It feels like we are climbing uphill while someone is pulling us and dragging us back down. You demand change, you demand academics being increased, and then you take away the supports to help make that happen. If you have ideas, if you have thoughts, if you have true things that you think could really make a change in this school, why not talk to the people that are in there every day? Instead of making these decisions. And we scheduled, I saw 2 meetings on the agenda last week, just on a whim, but today we had 40 people sitting outside while you had another meeting before the meeting that is now. This meeting that could have happened, that you did today, whatever non-public it was, could have been done on another day. For the board to hold interviews for any positions, for the board to hold any interviews for positions on a day where you know that people are waiting to speak to you, when a board that says, we respect taxpayers, we want to change the time, we want taxpayers to come and speak, we want people to stand up, that shows me you don't want people to stand up. Making people sit outside for 3 hours while you do other things, when those other things could have been scheduled on a different day. And
we're nearing the 5 minutes, just to let you know.
You can have my 5 minutes.
I yield my time.
You can have them all.
Yeah, so speed it up.
Maria, she's been given 5 minutes by
Yep,
several
she's
people.
got an additional 5 minutes
Listen,
from,
I honestly didn't,
Who
I
was
think,
that?
Megan Merricky, you can have my 5.
Megan Merricky.
So there's 20.
I don't want to be up there for 20. But I'm not coming up here to do anything but to speak on things that have been said because it's important to me. I'm not doing this for fame. I'm not doing this to be important. I'm doing this because I have 3 kids in this school too. And if you're gonna make decisions that directly affect my kids, then they affect everyone else's kids too. And it is not okay to send an administrator out in 2 days and tell him, bye, and then let the kids just flounder. Like, we're letting kids cry in the school and we're saying that's okay? That's good for kids? Make it make sense, okay? I'm not coming up here to lay the smack down because I want to. I cannot sit back and allow things to continue to happen and we're expecting different things. We keep, again, asking for change and then refusing the change because the only change that this board wants to see is the change that they want, not the change that people that are in the building, administrators, teachers, all these people are telling you. They're telling you what they want to see. Parents, teachers, administrators, and we're refusing to listen. How is that okay? How? I literally cannot, I can't even wrap my brain around the things that have happened in the last 2 months. And I'm at a loss. I'm really at a loss, but I was not going to speak. But I literally can't sit there and listen to this over and over. And then again, to talk about academics, talk about other things, that's great. We absolutely do need to improve them, but we're not being given the right resources to do that.
But you can't do that if kids are crying.
You can't do that if kids are crying, you absolutely can't. You also can't do that without the proper resources. And whether this board wants to think about it or not, mental health is a huge deal. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about mental health. We keep pushing it off. We don't want to take this grant. We don't want to take that grant because mental health. We don't want to talk about it. You can say all day that this school doesn't have the problems, but we obviously have problems. We've talked about it for 3 years. The last 3 years, we've discussed the problems that are happening. But we're expecting immediate change, and we're not giving people the opportunity. We're also stifling people that are trying to make changes. That is not okay. It is not okay. And again, I'm sorry to talk to a collective board if that's not all of your thoughts, but that's part of being a board member, is listening to people. But it seems like the board only wants to listen if it directly agrees with what you're saying. And when people don't agree, they're stifled, they're stopped, they're paused. Oh, it's your time. But then when other people are speaking and they agree, then it's fine. We don't talk back to people unless they don't agree with us. We change policy on a whim to fit our narrative because we want people to speak. But then when there's 40 people here to speak, we make them wait outside in the hallway. I like literally don't understand. And I feel sorry for kids, and I'm scared for my kids. I'm already planning and trying to figure out what to do with my kids because if we continue on this trajectory, nothing good is going to happen. Nothing. We have amazing kids, we have an amazing community, we have amazing supports, and we are not utilizing those things, and we are continually pushing our kids down, even though we keep saying we want to raise them up, even though we keep saying we want academics to be better. We need our kids to be better. We need our parents to be better. They need to work with our kids, because if you are not reading with your kid at home, if you have that availability to do so, then you need to talk to teachers that will do it, because there are some awesome teachers in this building, and I'm sure that they would be willing to do that extra time. They'd be willing to put that extra effort in. But if we're not utilizing them and giving them the opportunity to do so, then how can we expect anything to get better? How? I don't understand how any academics are ever going to change with the way that we're doing things now. So I know that not all of you respect me, which is fine, but I hope that you at least can hear from all of the people that are sitting here, the people that are speaking. They're all saying the same thing. We all want the same thing. We want our kids to do better. We want our kids to be successful. What's happening now is not going to do that.
Thank you, Christina.
Hi, my name is Alyssa Dow, 6th grade language arts here at Seabrook Middle School. I just wanted to read something from the New Hampshire School Boards Association. This is an excerpt from the role of a school board member. It says, board action should be focused on mission statements, goals-based outcomes, local board policies, academic standards, and sufficient communication with the community. I have no idea how telling Brian to stop his work today was goals-based, focused on a mission statement, followed a local policy, improved our academic standards, and had sufficient communication with the community. I do not understand that. The end of the school year is tumultuous, it's exciting, but it's also scary, and to not have the amazing leadership at the helm is really sad for our students. That's sad. Thank you, Alyssa.
Next. I'd like to say something if everybody's done. New board member, oldie but newbie, I'm back. I have spent the last 2 months, day in and day out, the people we see here, I am thrilled. We have had packed board meetings since our first board meeting in March. That's what we want. I, myself, feel like we, as a board, have spent 2 months cleaning up messes. When I looked at my fellow board members and things were coming up and they said, gee, I'm sorry, we didn't know about that. Nope, we didn't know about that. And they're all here to attest. Years of not knowing. We know now, okay? And I love the teachers. I want our kids to be learning. Do I have a problem with the ratings and the academics? You're sure right I do. And I am gonna stick to that. These kids deserve better. And when I meet kids that are going to the high school next year, they can't read, I cry. And it didn't start in this middle school. So as much as we all wanna think it's middle school, it did not start in this middle school. And you know what? We're gonna find out how to fix that as an administrator, as our principals, as our families, as our staff. We are going to find that place. We haven't gotten there yet. You know why? Because we have been so caught up in trying to figure out what's been going on here. What has been going on? And if you want to talk about staff, I don't know if many of you know, we've lost over 37 staff members in the past 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Retention is a problem here. It didn't start today at this board table. And I can tell you, as far as being a board member and being in that classroom, hovering over that teacher every day, or sitting with that principal all day, I don't belong there. That's not my job. My job is to come when I am invited to come to a child's program. I will come in. We got an invitation today. My job is to hear the community, to make sure the kids are getting their education, and to be invited. I don't feel like I should come unannounced in this building for any reason and go sit in a classroom like I heard people are allowed to do that. Well, you know something? That is not okay with me for a multitude of reasons. But what I do have to say to all of you, I went to this school. This is my school. My parents, generations before me, this is the town I grew up in. It pains me to see children in the academic levels they are, and it's not right, and honestly, it's got to change. Okay, we need to talk about social emotional. I am perfectly fine with that, but it cannot be the focus first and foremost. We can teach, I know we can. And as hard as it is for people to absorb, I had parents that are sitting here tonight reach out to me and say, hey, do you know what a community school is? Do you know what that is? I spent days watching webinars. I looked at materials. I wanted to know, what is a community school? Because I have a public school. I don't know what a community school is. And then I hear, well, it's not really a school, it's a philosophy. If you knew the funds and the grants that have been spent to go train for this community school initiative, I was shocked. And like I said, I'm new, but I'm looking at it. And I looked at it hard. I want my public school, I want my kids to be educated, and I'm gonna work with all of you as best I can, because you know why? People out there elected us to do a job, and we're here. As far as people want to leave and resign, we have no control over that. We have control over keeping this building settled in a good area where kids can learn. And if we think it isn't, it's incumbent upon us as a board to make sure that that's happening. And you know what? You can stand up here all night and beat what was, but I'm gonna talk about what is and moving forward. And hopefully our board can do a retreat soon with our administration so that we can look at the next coming year, how we're gonna fix the academics, because we're gonna do it. We did it at the high school 1 year. The high school was a school in need of improvements. I sat on that board, we said, what are we gonna do? Brought an outside agency in, they spent 4 days at the high school, 18 people, and guess what? by the next year, those kids coming in from Seabrook School that had no algebra background, could not read, within a year, they improved. So I feel you, I am not new to this town, I hear you, and we are gonna fix the mess that has been made with our school, and that's what I'm gonna say, and it isn't anything to do with the staff.
I need 5 minutes.
You can have
My name is Rebecca Sherban, I teach 8th grade language arts, and Maria, I am inviting you directly to come into my class, 8th grade language arts, and show me one student who cannot read. Because I am telling you right now, I know this data inside and out, and I am telling you right now, directly to your face, that it is an insult to these 8th graders for you to stand up here and say that I am sending, or that any of these middle school teachers are sending children to the high school who cannot read because they can. So you are asking all of we're gonna aim to know students being sent to the high school who cannot read, and that is an untruth.
Wow, okay.
So I am directly inviting you into my classroom. I am directly inviting you into my classroom so that you can see their writing, so that you can hear them read, so that you can see them analyze text and look at informative pieces of information and pull in text citations from it and speak eloquently and articulately and in a way that would make every single person in this room proud. So I don't want to hear any more from anybody else, community members included, who say that we are not sending up readers to Winnicott because I can show you the data that we are.
Well, that's interesting because all the grant information that they write supports that our kids cannot read going to high school.
I don't know any of that language and I'm happy to hear it, but if you walk into my classroom, I can show you that every single 8th grader who is headed up to Winnicott can read.
That's good news, because we haven't been reading it.
Says absolutely the opposite.
Hi, I'm Bethany Stevens, 86 Middle Street. I'm confused about saying that you're going to come and clean up the mess, but I want to know what qualifications you have as an educator or in education to know what to do or how to do that. And who you're listening to, because it seems like we are losing administration that would be certified and qualified to do such stuff. We had someone that could have stayed and helped, and you could have even utilized his time to help you find strategies of what we could do next, because apparently you didn't want him in the building. There's other ways we could have used him, and he is more than qualified. I am my degree in education. I could walk into when I first walked in as a paid person with an education degree, it's a whole different world. I went to school for it, you think you know things, I did an internship. Walking into the building, being in that building every single day, seeing those kids, what it takes to be an educator, you have no idea until you're in that building day after day. So for you to tell people what needs to be done, you need to be in that building. It's an eye-opening experience. And not be in the building when it's something that they're doing for fun, because you're not gonna see anything going on, because those kids are not being asked to do something that's challenging. You need to be in the building for a full solid week, see what it's like. And I know for a fact these teachers are welcoming you, so I appreciate you guys to use that time, because it is very encouraged and welcomed. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 8th, 2024 meeting.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Make a motion to approve the minutes from the April 16th, 2024
Kelly and Lacey are gonna be your representatives to the withdrawal.
I'll get in touch with Leo this week.
I will volunteer to do the operations committee alternate.
Okay. I volunteer for the policy committee.
POC, they need to do agendas.
Lacey, did you say policy? Yes, I'd like to volunteer for the policy committee.
That was
Patrick,
Jen.
you said operation?
Alternate.
Can we leave that one open because it was Jen and I thought she had.
She's the actual committee member,
Yeah.
I'm the alternate.
Perfect, all right.
Okay, then.
I would also like to nominate myself for the facilities committee. What's that? Well, since I'm the.
No, I know, but just. Okay.
I'll be the alternate on that committee.
I'll do the budget, okay?
Yep, that's gonna be yours.
I'll be your alternate if you want.
I'll do the wellness.
I'll be your alternate. Wait, Jen's gotta do some of this too. So, yeah, Jen's gotta do, so,
Jen and excuse her, she's some sick, or should be here.
Yeah.
She's.
Maybe we'll give her the budget. I'll be the alternate for, policy.
okay.
Yeah.
And I don't mind.
alternate for the policy? Yeah.
Do we wanna leave the rest of them for next meeting when Jen comes?
What are the rest of them?
Extracurricular stipends committee, NSBA delegate.
Oh, I did that last year, Jen, definitely.
I can do the extra stipend committee.
Okay.
That's when you go to Concord, right?
The
NSBA is.
The NSBA.
Yeah, Jen's doing that, I did it for her last year. She's never leaving it.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna be around for
That, there's no, I was on the negotiations committee before, but there is no negotiations in this upcoming. Ain't gonna hang out with you this time, I'm at.
Okay.
That is the committees. Do
Alright,
we
so
need a motion for that now, or is it just?
Yes, can I just read back what I captured?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just to make sure, so we have it all for the minutes. Patrick will be the alternate for OC, Lacey will serve on policy, Lacey will also serve on facilities, Patrick will be the alternate for facilities, Kelly will serve on budget, Maria as the alternate, Patrick on wellness / joint loss, correct?
Yep.
With Lacey as the alternate, Kelly is the alternate for policy, Maria will serve on the extracurricular stipends committee, I don't think we have an alternate for that. Jen on the New Hampshire School Board Association, and I don't think we have an alternate for that.
I'll do the alternate for Jen, the New Hampshire School Board Association.
Should we put Jen as the alternate for the stipend committee?
No, put her the alternate for the New Hampshire School Board Association too.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I make a motion to accept all committee appointments.
Yes.
Does that suffice?
Yeah. Yeah.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Federal, grant assurances.
I'll do this, yep. So this is with respect to your federal grants for next year.
Yep.
In order to receive, it's Title 1, 2, 3, and 4 you guys receive. In order to receive federal funds, you have to sign off on some documentation of the following rules, assuring them of the following rules.
Yep.
So that is this document. We're looking for a motion to allow the chair to sign on the board's behalf.
I make a motion to authorize Board Chair Maria Brown to sign FY 2025 general assurances on behalf of the Seabrook School Board.
Dave, can you just go over, I know that you sent an email explaining what the differences were between last year and this year.
Yes, there
I
are.
read it, but can you just kind of explain it a little bit?
They are editorial in nature. Sorry. All right, so, this is 17 pages of federal compliance law. I'll go through the changes bullet by bullet. Page 3, they made an addition that the sub-recipient will comply with the Buy America preference for infrastructure projects as required by CFR Part 184. On Part 5, they made the addition of 40, The subrecipient will comply with the prohibition on certain telecommunications and video surveillance equipment requirement per 2 CFR 200-216. On page 5, they added number 41. The subrecipient will comply with the protection for whistleblowers per 41 U.S.C. 4712.
What's that?
I assume it's protection for.
Whistleblower protection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Page 6 is the addition of we have to have a non-smoking policy for children's services.
Yep.
Page 10, the addition of the statement documentation must be in the project file indicating that this review was completed before the award is made. That has to do with, I think, facilities improvements. And then last, on page 17, there's a change of procedure with these assurances that once the document is fully executed, i.e. signed, please upload a signed copy of the general assurances to the LEA homepage within GMS for review and approval. General assurances must be uploaded for each district applying for federal funds. So in order to be eligible for federal funds, you have to sign.
Can you tell me what was the first one? I'm sorry.
The first one was on page 3.
Yep.
The subrecipient will comply with the Buy America preference for infrastructure projects as required by CFR Part 184. I assume that means vote for American products.
Those for, yeah, specifically for infrastructure, which probably we're not gonna be hitting a lot of in those type of grants.
Right, these are for anybody
Yeah.
receiving federal grants, so it's
Your
big.
roads going out front, the structure, the bridge over there by the marsh.
Exactly, it's those kind of projects.
Yeah.
So I have a motion, I don't have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Okay. What's the grants?
Next one's grants.
I can do the consolidated application. So this is along the same lines, this is for your federal grants. This year, the DOE has actually consolidated the application process, meaning put all the grants together into one application. We have to apply by June 30th in order to receive funds for next year.
June 1st.
Oh, sorry, June 1st. The catch is there are no set allocations right now. They're gonna come to us with allocations, but we have to indicate that we intend to take the money when the allocations come. I assume these grant activities are gonna fall under the board policy of approval, and it's public information anyway. But we wanted your approval, or at least the transparency, to say we intend on receiving these funds for next year.
Motion required.
This is labeled informational, so.
What, do we know anything about them, or are they just
Yeah,
in
I guess-
general?
So we're just indicating that we intend to receive the funds. The funds this year, the allocations for Title I, Part A were $563,966.85.
That was Title what?
Title I, Part A. Title II, Part A was $43,554.20. And Title IV, Part A was $26,082.97. So we expect similar allocations.
Expenditures, I don't think we have anything on that.
We have another grant.
Actually, the second grant.
Oh,
What is that?
yeah.
That was
My
that
bad,
was
my
that
eyes
that
are burnt out.
grant. It was approximately $33,000 that was still, was allocated, but hasn't been spent yet. Previously, that was, written in for some, various stipends, and bring staff members to attend a conference.
Was that the FSCS grant? Yeah, okay, and so this is for the extra funds that were left?
Right,
This is
so.
additional, wasn't this like, go ahead.
So yeah, so I think the board had expressed interest in looking at different ways to utilize those funds, so, you know, as you know, we are limited by how we can use the funds, but, attached is a list of our proposal that includes, take-home books, for summer school. 60 students to attend the Seacoast Science Center, transportation to the Science Center, a on-site summer field field trip to Lake City Farm, chaperones to these trips, some supplemental reading, that's for systemic instruction and phonological awareness, phonics and sight words, a parent workshop, a book series for students K through 5, that's nonfiction, focus on aerospace science and social studies content, as well as some decodable book series for the kindergarten teachers, and some literacy texts on Flying Start. So that's the totals out. Those are outlined, itemized on the attachment, and it totals about $33,000.
So this is the grant previously included funding for stipends and attendance at a conference for a total of $33,440, which has been removed. So are you telling me that it was for something else, but now we can use it for this?
So we were planning on sending staff to a conference, and there were some stipends for various activities. So we are proposing that we rewrite that to what I just said.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion on that, or?
I believe the board.
Your policy that
Yeah.
is over.
I make a motion to accept the revised UNH grant as proposed.
I'll second. Oh, go ahead, Maria.
Nope, that's okay, dear, no, I was just asking. Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Yes.
Is that it on grants?
It is.
Okay.
Fifth grade, I think that's-
Approval of expenditures, we're all set with that. Consideration to move 5th grade to the elementary school.
Okay, so I met with the staff in Harrison, Insurance, outlined for you, space is an issue, where would we put the 4 classes? Certification is also an issue, because 2 of the 4 staff, if you did departmentalize, like they presently do, 1 teaches math, 1 teaches science. 2 of the 4 are not elementary certified, so they would be teaching out of their content, depending on how it was designed. The schedule would be impacted, now we're adding 75 students to the elementary side, so how would that impact lunch, unified arts? They have STEM, we don't have STEM here, at the elementary level. Also music, library, and the last piece is, there's gonna be a new leader over there, so is it prudent to make that change in the fact that there would be new leadership? So those were the list of concerns that we discussed. The teachers also would prefer to stay in the middle school. So, they feel like they're the bridge between the elementary and the middle school. I wasn't here when they first entered, I'm gonna say it didn't really go so well, and, Patrick, we had 2 parent meetings. We need to do a better job of bridging kids from 4th grade to 5th grade, which we feel like involves a lot of things. So here's kind of the steps that we talked about, based on the conversation they had and based on things that I've done in the previous school. What can we do better? Well, we are gonna have a move-up day in June. They have done previous move-up day where the students come over, they get to meet the teacher, they get to see the classroom, they get to talk about the expectations. We would like to have, so 4th grade parents, if you're listening, we would like to have the same day, June 5th at night, like a meet and greet with just the parents. So I would be there, the curriculum person would be there. I've asked Lindsay, the director of food services, to be there. I haven't asked the nurse yet, so she's watching. I'm gonna ask her to attend, so that we would be in the gym and we would set it up where like, here's what all the pieces are. Here's what power school looks like. Here's what, here's what our design of the middle school looks like. To kind of answer the questions, because I'm sure they're concerned. I'm sure they are a little worried. You're in a cocoon when you're in elementary school, and then wham, you go to middle school. I've lived that experience in my K-8 school. So just kind of say, like, what do you want to ask us now in this setting? And then we also propose that we do monthly check-ins, so the teachers would go over informally. The math teacher might go over and watch a math class in 4th grade, so that they see
the adults who are teaching them, and they also have an understanding of like, eventually they're gonna come over here, so kind of like there's the curriculum piece, what does it look like in fourth grade math, science, ELA, and then what kind of a conversation we have, with those staff, so that transition is more successful than perhaps it's been in the past. So we'd like to do the check-ins, we'd also like to propose like a big brother, big sister, maybe the fifth grade kids go over, they do some activities, maybe once a month with the fourth grade students, so it's kind of, it's many things I feel like are, wow, you profit from that. The downside of not having the fifth grade here, which I forgot to mention, is the band chorus, which is huge here, that would be impacted. They do concerts at their side, but they also get to go to places in fifth grade. And I would hate to take that opportunity away from them. We have a strong music program, we like to keep it strong. They also get to join clubs here. And I think that's important when you segue from the elementary setting to the elementary setting, that you feel like you are part of the community. I know they don't get to do sports, and that's another conversation for another day, but,
If we can maybe look into, I know wrestling is all weight-based, and
Yeah.
it's not necessarily, there's not a problem with like a fifth grader wrestling a seventh grader, because they're gonna be compared weight on track or cross-country. If there was at least 2 or 3 things that they could know that they could participate to make them feel in, but I think this plan sounds.
I will tell you that transitioning from fourth to fifth grade in my 18 years in a K-8 school is not easy. It's very hard. They're in this little, they're the same teacher all day long, and all of a sudden you get a LACA, you get a combination, your gym classes on the other side of the world. The nice thing about fifth grade down there is that they're kind of in their own little pod. They have their own little bathroom there, their own little area. I will absolutely say it didn't go well from when I came in at the end of September. We can't go back, all we can do is go forward and put some steps in place so parents of fourth graders feel better about their kids coming in. And at the end of the day, that's what we want. So I really feel like some of the steps that we've set up for the next phase of what that looks like will help the transition be better.
Well, I
I don't know if you have any questions
Far
for
better
me.
than the transition.
No, I
we
think
had.
those are wonderful.
Yeah, that's,
Those are great
I'm
ideas.
very comfortable with all the work that you just put into that.
So fourth grade parents will be calling you to come. Save the date.
Save the day.
Good.
Thank you very much, Colleen.
Thanks, you're welcome.
Okay, so last day of school.
Yes, so the board needs to set a last day of school. The scheduled last day was June 12th. We had a snow day. So we have enough hours to still have the last day for students be June 12th, should the board decide to do that. Teachers would still have to make up that day.
June 12th it is.
June 12th.
June 12th.
Come in.
Does that need a motion?
I think she's trying to get.
I make a motion to designate June 12th as an early release for the last day of school.
Looking for Maria Brown.
Right here. Oh,
Nothing bad.
oh,
Just your car.
are you sure?
Is there anything?
Yep.
All right, Patrick.
Sally.
Can I say something? So June 11th will be the promotion ceremony for 8th grade, and we'll be sending that info out for parents, and I know they've been asking, but we couldn't do that.
Until we set up.
Yeah.
All right, so graduation on June 11th and last day June 12th?
Which is also a scheduled board meeting, I believe.
No, we'll change it.
Yeah.
Acceptance of gifts. Motion to accept a donation from Allison Knox in the amount of $4,462.50 for the Seabrook Food Service.
I second it, and I think this is
Yeah.
absolutely wonderful and so far.
Yes.
It's a gift from Knox. He is a 12-year-old student, and not a Seabrook student, but he has donated around $4,400 to be used for breakfast and lunch school meals for students in need.
No way.
So absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful kid.
You're not?
Yes, somewhat.
The vote?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Unanimous.
wonderful.
Awesome.
Make a motion to accept the donation of $2,500 from the Crime Line for the Hamptons to be used for the SMS 8th grade field trip.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Security camera update.
So what is that, how is that going? Cause there was so much back and forth and then it just kinda died. Is it all good?
Yeah, so we awarded the bid of the security camera system, and that will, that is currently being scheduled to be installed. So that's, yeah, so it's going forward.
So what was the big to-do on that?
So there was a vendor that
That
was
was the-
unhappy that they did not receive the bid, so there was some correspondence there.
Yeah.
However, it was, the bids were vetted by our technology team, and we were satisfied with the winning vendor, and we're looking forward to that installation.
So did you view them, like, are they actually clear enough that you can visualize?
I mean, I've been told that they meet all of our specifications,
Okay.
and they provide the proper clarity.
All right. Awesome.
SMS Assistant Principal Search.
Okay, update on assistant principal, we have a team of 10 staff who volunteered, one parent, 2 students. We provided them with all 16 resumes. They chose to interview 3 candidates. One of the candidates got another job, so, and one candidate, we'd like to give that candidate a second interview based on some information received, in background checks. And one candidate would not be our choice. So we're going to go to a round 2 of interviews. I contacted 4 candidates last night. We met with the team, what day is today? Yesterday. I contacted the 4 last night. They are going to come for an interview on May 24th. And then we're gonna determine after that interview with the 4 plus the 1 from the first round, if we will give a name to you and the superintendent in June. We created group norms, qualifications, questions, rubrics. We're looking for somebody long-term, not short. Yeah, that's where we're at with that.
Any internal candidates potentially?
I don't think we can say.
Oh, fair enough.
Are you talking about the
I
state,
like
you're talking about
internal.
middle school, right?
Yeah.
So the applications that we have.
You have all the resumes that they got.
Yep.
We went through all of them, we interviewed 3, 1 got another job, 1, we want to interview a second time, we have a little bit more in-depth questions.
Yeah.
And the third one, because you asked for 3, we
Yeah.
gave you 3, is not somebody that we would recommend as a committee. So now we've looked at other resumes in that pile that you also have.
Yeah.
And we've chosen 4 candidates that we wanna move forward and interview on the 24th. We are not gonna settle.
Yeah.
We want the best person for Seabrook Middle School so that there is consistency and continuity, and, the team all determined that this was the best way to go.
So it's the same committee.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen.
All right. Future meetings. Joint board Tuesday, May 21st, 2024. Joint board policy committee, Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. Seabrook. Next board meeting, Tuesday, June 11th, 24, which we're
We
gonna
have to reschedule.
reschedule.
So 2 things before you reschedule. One, you have other nominations that we're going to want to make, so I know Maria had indicated she wanted to try to set a date for our next meeting, so I'd love to see that all people are here. And second, if you want to reschedule for June 11th, this would be a good time to look at calendars, because they're pretty full. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes. Can we just get the graduation date too, while we're looking at that calendar, the 12th?
No, 11th.
The 11th?
6 o'clock.
to 11, 6 o'clock.
So we don't want our meeting.
No, for sure.
But that's like 4:30 to 6, you could be done.
You could do what? June sixth?
If your meeting is at 4:30, you could be all done.
How do we know? I'm done at 6. That's an hour and a half.
Colleen's like,
Can we do
don't
it?
push it.
I also live streamed the graduation, so
Yeah, no, we're not
no,
doing
not
this.
having
We
set
won't
time.
torture you like
Yeah.
that. We won't torture you.
That would be tough for you.
Yeah, alright, so we're at June, so June 12th is the last day, the 11th is graduation, do we wanna do the 4th? Or the 10th?
Well, I would like to try to do it, sooner because we want to talk to someone. And I would like to talk to them as soon as we possibly can.
Okay.
Yeah. What's today?
Today is
14th.
the 14th.
Still, I think.
The one that was scheduled in non-public.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so I would like to.
Meredith, you
I
want
can
to-
do that, I've
Well,
got,
you discussed a potential meeting for the 20th.
Oh, just kidding, I'm sorry. Listen, I'm done. My I'm spent today.
But I'm
Oh.
suggesting that you not be waiting until June for other nominations, because you've got
Right.
several other positions open.
Yes.
And June 11th is going to be hard to hold on to it's going to be hard to hold on to candidates until then. So ideally, we would meet before that.
So you're thinking the 21st of May? Are you talking that soon, or?
we could do June, or the,
May.
May 22nd, because we got the joint board on the
I can't
20th.
do that, can't do Wednesday.
I can do the 21st then.
I have a zoning board meeting.
21st on Tuesday.
Yeah, I have a night meeting.
Wednesday,
Yeah,
Wednesday.
before.
It's a joint board on the board.
I can do the 23rd, I'm off, actually off that Thursday, the 23rd,
Yeah.
4:30.
4:30, okay.
Alright, May 23rd. May 23rd?
So we're doing AP interviews 24th.
Oh, you are, okay, I go.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, sorry, so is that?
So if we're gonna,
over here.
we're gonna need a candidate, and we wouldn't have interviews.
So we can we do the 20th for the one thing we talked about? now?
Yes, yes, we can.
That's
I
all-
completely
that's-
forgot
that's
we
what I was
scheduled
talking
that
about.
already.
How about we do,
29th?
the 29th works for me.
29th works for me.
Not the 20th.
We're doing
We're
the
doing the
20th.
20th.
Right. Did you get that, Meredith, the 20th?
Yep.
Yep,
So you know about the 20th?
yes.
Okay, so
The
the
next one
20th.
that we're gonna reschedule is that June one, which we're gonna do
Oh,
the 29th, right?
Yeah.
Sound good?
Which
We're
one?
gonna have that 4:30.
4:30?
I don't think
Or
that
28th?
replaces your June meeting.
No, yeah, you know what I mean. It's just our
And
pre,
that's
it's our
a-
pre-June.
Sure.
Well, I mean,
We need a retreat. That'll be June. All right. June.
So the 28th or the 29th?
Can we do the 28th?
Yep.
the 28th, there's a joint board policy committee meeting.
What's the 29th on?
On a Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday.
That's okay, I'll leave early.
Who's the joint board policy meeting? What time are those?
5 and 6:30, well, usually.
We also have any college and school meetings that night on the 28th.
So the 29th sounds good? Get it done?
Sure, I'll leave work early, I don't care.
I'll leave it up to
Yeah, well, who, the joint board committee, what is that policy?
That's
yeah,
Lisa.
that's me.
Is that 5?
Yeah.
Hmm.
There it is. Alright, so the 20th, we'll meet, we'll sign one, and the 29th, and those will go 4:30.
Yes.
The correspondence is 29.
29th at the high school.
What time do you start if we're meeting at 4:30? I think we're safe, right?
Oh, this is June 6th. Alright, 20th and 29th.
28th.
It's this
That's
time.
at 6.
20th and 29th.
Yeah, there's the 28th and 29th.
No,
We're not going back to that.
I think the arrival is 5.
Alright, so
Good to see
20th
you.
and 29th at 4:30.
Okay.
Alright,
Good?
Well, we have a concert at 6, so I guess you can get hard out.
Yep.
Are we gonna,
The chorus concert
on the 6th.
at, on the 29th.
So if any of your middle schoolers are going to the chorus concert, you'll miss it. Because they have to be there for 5:30.
I said June 6th.
That's the play.
Oh, no.
can we,
So.
Oh, wait a
can
minute,
everyone
what
check
grade is
their
that for the
calendars, then
concert?
maybe it'd be
All
great
of
for
them.
everyone to
28.
know
Oh, that's,
Yes.
on what day?
Because
The
Yes.
29th.
Oh, we can't do that, that's the middle school concert. concert.
On what day?
29.
29th, we can't do that.
So Meredith just
So the
suggested that
20
we go over our calendars and that we come
Yeah.
back on the 20th with a date
Good.
Okay.
instead of
That's
us
great.
doing
And-
this.
Yeah,
Yes.
and if you wanna make that your dream meeting, that's fine. I was just suggesting we try to come to do interviews and or nominations for the open positions,
Yes.
which shouldn't be a full meeting.
Right,
for
right,
your
I
regular
agree.
dream agenda.
I agree, that works for me, if it works for everybody else.
Yep.
Sweet.
Okay, we'll have the date by the
20th.
20th for the meeting.
Good?
Yeah.
Okay, motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye. thank you everyone for your time.
Everyone, motion.